Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, hold on. Yesterday was the first time in the last 3 years I actually felt relatively normal. Like, seriously normal. Like it was a fall day 10 years ago, and I'm just enjoying the peaceful quietness, I guess. Okay? And that was on the heels of me releasing a major fire demon. Okay? And that's why I posted my last post about how the elements have everything to do with the four humors, because everything is connected. And so, but I didn't make that connection really. I mean, I studied the four humors probably like 5 or 6 years ago, or even less than that. Not 3 years ago. I studied the four humors, which is the blood, or is it the yellow, the black, the blue, whatever. The four humors that give a person's personality based upon their biochemistry. But I didn't put it together with how it programs people, and with Hollywood, and then with all the different therapies, and then all the different, therapies, foods that people eat or don't eat. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Okay. And so during that time, this last week, releasing those alcohol demons, because I drank alcohol on a purified body, but only 3 shots in 8 hours, but still that was enough to poison my system. And so I woke up on the Sunday morning after Saturday drinking 3 shots of whatever with a bunch of hives. And then on top of that, doing so much Jello, because I was studying gelatin and all that stuff. And that's all acids as well. And so I overdid the acids, and then it caused the heartburn. And that heartburn demon stayed with me for a few days. I finally released that heartburn demon after I ate some cabbage. And it was a very aggressive yellow bile fire fucking demon that finally, I'm good. I released that demon. And so that's the whole point of the J world. That's the whole point of the whole J world. Not just the J juice, because you could do J juice, but because you'll be cured, but you'll also, and so you won't be evolving. You won't be eating to release much salt, and water will cure you temporarily. But then what happens is redouble its efforts when that cure is off, because you're only delaying the inevitable. Okay, so how I release the demon, eating the food, and it's pulling out the fucking shit to figure out how to do yourself. I can't. I'm telling you, it is the coughing, the sneezing, the blowing your nose is how I release the demons. Releasing all the demons that are causing so much torture, suffering, and trauma, and bitterness, and just denial inside. And so when they hold on to those demons, they actively deny those demons. They get involved with so many their demons. So it's not always somebody being mad. It's not always someone bitter and happy all the time. And it's not always someone sad. Denial is a huge waste. And when you're in denial, you distract yourself, and then you process, you are also under the influence too, because even just a party, go to a place, and they'll drink alcohol, but it is a way for them not to have to address their demons after another, after another, and after another, and after another. And even all successes, industry successes, this type of thing, that's also a distraction. So you address your demons, but then potentially even a proper way. And so when you understand where I'm coming from, order is coming from. And I'm not trying to destroy, no intention for me to destroy anyone, because I have spent 7 years of faith, because everything I've been doing has been on in public. I face those demons head on. Whether it's out there in the population, resist, shut up, and all this stuff, to my own fucking as a young adult, and through the current, changes that are going on. Okay, so I spent 7, but these from the body. They have a nice, happy home. They have whatever they wanted. Yeah, go have a donut, Jillian. Go have this. And they had their preferences by demons. And what are these demons? These things that are so overaccumulated, and they also cause so many different ways of thinking and conflicting thoughts, each other imbalances. Okay, they don't want to leave the body. They will do body. They will resist me trying. That's why all the pushback the last 7 years. I don't want to be released. Okay, like the person doesn't want to feel pain. Well, yeah, that's things in the body that need to be released also are very conscious things. They're in your dreams. They're the devil and the angel on your shoulder all the time. Running monologue. Okay? Help study for a test or employ you to figure out how to. But they don't want to ever fucking leave. These little conscious beings inside your body, and they're so comfortable. And then somebody mentions, oh yes, energy will release them because they know they become too numerous, and they know they've taken over and they've controlled most of your talks to you. And in the back of the eyes going, oh shit, this chick is talking about releasing us as in control of this person, and she's telling salt and water. And those demons will then control that person and make it of salt, water, GMO, gluten, and so that's imagine with the New World Order, okay, who acts like you, the cunts that have to look after. Imagine the New World Order where humanity needs to go doing. We can't be continuing what we've been doing, and they're now having to go to the atmosphere. Okay, look at fuse energy into the atmosphere. Attempt to regulate. Who determines any people and all? Well, when you think about cancer, remember the Georgia Guidestones? For nature, leave room for nature. Got people reproducing children, so really don't have a plan for themselves, really aren't groomed for anything particular. They're just there just to exist. When you think about it, really, I mean, they can probably try to go to college, but maybe that's not even their cards. So specific industries that people are needing go to the wayside. Another area where there's innovation, really. I mean, you could someplace that's not raised in innovation. It could potentially push and be anomalous, but that's not always the case. In the inner city, who's never been exposed to anything like physics or chemistry, and then they have kind of interest and strategy around, well, not strategy, gift around it. And so then somebody in the school continues with whatever their gift is. But that isn't always the case. That's like a Cinderella story. Out there, they're not really groomed for greatness, really. Certain level, and then they're just feeding into whatever the economy is. And when that economy goes to the specific economy, what are these kids going to have? 20,000 kids that are just into service industry, and then those things. Or let's say you have Amazon, big old huge there to feed the people, but if there's no to get money and to buy the stuff, unless the government gives a stipend, then they aren't there yet. In California, when that actually hits, to then put people on that kind of people who are given government money on serves people with government money, and there's that balance for that. Or else you have people developing children, and then you see what happens when something the whole area becomes complete. Okay, everything is eaten out of sight. 2045, something to do with 2045 and fertility or something. Males are not going to be able to produce sperm or activated, and slow down the birth rate to be almost non-existent by 2040. And people are like, oh my God, the whole J world is for you to stay alive. Release those demons in your body as the system is infusing energy to release to survive. A lot of these fires, these hurricanes, of course, what happened to Maui? There's some people that are not going to be able to survive. And that's just a given. That's just what you have to be able to survive it. Okay? You have to be the strongest in your world. You got to be the smartest person in your fucking group of people to competing for the same resources. You're competing for protection. Your games that's going on right now. Those are the movies that are trying to tell you, oh yeah, there's Minority Report, all these science fiction movies and all these what exactly is going on today. But people are like, oh no, that's make-believe, that's in reality. It's just a roadblock for you to figure out how to get around. You either stop at that roadblock, like, okay, it's all make, or you go beyond that roadblock and realize this movie is trying to warn you that the movies are actually based in reality and based upon somebody's belief. Then you got to get past people mocking you. You think I got past those that are and intolerant is going on, and they potentially will not survive them because of their own, that they don't want to change and they don't want to face what's going on. Here in Ohio. We get our storms, and we're not of the hurricanes, but we know hurricanes and a lot of water can go in, and but people here are pretty much in. It might take one huge storm that will deluge an area, and all of a sudden all your storm drains are overflowing, your basements are flooded. But who knows if that'll happen? I don't discount it. People are not going to see it's going to happen until it'll happen again. But with all the coasts, they get all the different hurricanes. They got to face that reality. And when you sit through 5 hurricanes and you rebuild in the same place until their whole family is wiped away and they can't survive the next one, a category 5. Yeah. And so I'm not trying to save themselves. The NWO has given people a chance to save themselves. They're over the internet. They're allowing me to blocking me offline and say, okay, you can't know this information. I'm allowed to sell that book. Speak. I'm allowed to write stuff on my Facebook. Oh, but we can't believe science. That's just your opinion. That's just your perception. Because I get it when someone says, oh, we're not in climate change, right? There's alcohol or cannabis, or they have prescription drugs. They don't feel the heat, or they don't feel the coolness, or whatever. Their temperature has been modified to where they don't really feel stuff. They don't feel the frequencies. So there is no this. Okay, yeah, that's great. I can't, because who am I to fucking say to someone, if they don't feel the heat, if they don't feel the cold, that's their world. That's what they feel. That's what they see. Someone says, I feel the heat, there's definitely frequencies, then you have the responsibility to give me that allowance. Put out my anecdotal evidence of what I'm feeling. And then you have to go this way. That's what I'm frequencies. Why I know there's climate change. It's not just the evidence of the fires, heat, and the excessive cold. Why do I feel this way? Because I release the demons. I release the things that are controlling me. And I'm not under the influence of either alcohol or drugs or days, then I feel the frequencies. Somebody else's truth is when you're not cured, and when you're not inebriated, and when you're allow you to finally feel the world that you live in, the alcohol and the food mitigation. Explain why I feel the way I feel and why I do what I need to actually feel the things you need to feel. Then you'll think. That's what people call people liars, because have allowed themselves. And that's the issue that we're in. People are, and then they don't see danger for what it is. They don't feel the indicators. They keep denying, oh, no. Or they have so many baubles and so many things. And people say, oh, you should stay, over there in California. I hear that, and I'm thinking, get the fuck out. And you're a sitting duck? You should have left a long time ago. Found a way to leave areas that in. Because just like the fires over there in Canada, they had to leave, right? People don't want to leave. They want expensive stuff. So if I have to leave my house, I'm not worried about someone's thing, being ruined by water. I could just leave and go where you have to go. And even then they said they couldn't really anticipate where is there a better place to ride out a storm? It could be in a huge building that is going to be filled up with water. I don't know. But again, yeah, people have to watch their stuff. Excuse me. I did all the releasing the demons and cough a little red in it. So I'm releasing the happy demons out of my body. That the whole sanguine blood red, as far as the that also is like being under a flush of something to always keep you happy. And with red in it, then you know I'm relieved. I don't need to live on happiness. Okay, I mean a little bit of happiness here and there. That I'm just, I'm just there. I'm not. And so the NWO has given people a chance to nation in the world. They're giving you all the. What are you gonna fucking do? I asked a question to my Facebook audience, right? For anyone or tell you you're wrong, I won't even respond, and I didn't. What is global warming to you? And so I already told you my perception of weather modification warming the planet, making the temperatures extreme on each end. Storms are stronger. The weather is more intense, happening in different places. Okay? And so I don't want you to be used and coined because people are like, oh, it's because I want you to be very specific. What is global warming? Please define warming. And so Emily was saying, she was saying scientifically, global is scientific. It was because something gets warm because of this, this, and this. Somebody else is saying man does not control on the earth, on the temperature, on the cycles. Okay. I don't believe it. It's all made up by the media. And, hey, those are the perceptions out there. I left it. Okay? I'm not going to try to make anyone wrong, but I will tell you this. Those in the skies, or those contrails in the skies, do infuse a lot of elements that may be heavier metals that are not poison, because you can release them and you need heavy metals. You also can release them. The atmosphere to be hotter when the sun shines, and also it attracts that you do for cloud seeding. And that was also something that has been admitted and proven, that the system has been doing weather modification. And there's CERN, and there's HARP, and we all have the electricity of the Wi-Fi. And so yeah, when someone has an intention to make things stronger and to direct storms and know how to use different lasers up there, people are like, oh no, we're in flat Earth. There's no such thing as space. There's no such thing as satellites. It's what I'm saying. This is the world that we live on, sort of, but they don't believe that there's lasers in the skies that can go down and do whatever they got to do. That's the world that we live in. And you can't say that they're wrong. And you can't say they're right. You just have your perception. But no matter what your perception is of what global warming is, what's going on, what happened in Lahaina, you have to survive it. And you have to figure out, okay, they're trying to put everybody in different human habitation zones, right? They want to leave room for nature. They want the rich to be in places that are beautiful so they can be the caretaker of that land and treat it beautifully, because what they see is the indigenous folk might kind of take care of it. But I lived in Hawaii, okay? And I've seen how some people live, and there's garbage piled high all the way up to here, but it's hidden by all the plants that overgrow it. But there's so much going on. I mean, in Oahu, I lived there, and there was like a lot of meth, a lot of stuff going on. People getting attacked just out of the blue. Somebody gets attacked waiting at a bus stop in Oahu. Okay, I mean, there's military there as well. And so I'm trying to look from the point of view of the rich, and I know it's like, oh, you're not supposed to grab the land, you're not supposed to take from indigenous people, but the system now is trying to clean up the earth. They want Mother Nature being respected on so many levels. They want to stop all the fraud, waste, and abuse. They're trying to develop a sustainable type of environment where we're not disposable. People aren't disposable, animals aren't disposable, items in your house aren't disposable. They're trying to now, instead of, because all the disposability was all the experiments to allow people to compete with each other so you can get the best and brightest ideas out there. And then the system will find a way to then find the best and brightest ideas, the most streamlined business processes that then they can go and make an ISO standard out of it for the universe, for a universal rule for the world. Okay, but they needed the people and all of their children and all of their compartmentalized fractional potential of all the different humors to go and innovate and compete. And then once they get the foundation figured out, then they put everything on the internet, and then you go to all the different references like dictionary.com, like NIH, like any of those credible articles from academia that talk about the concepts, not so much their version of what a problem is or what a solution is, but specific concept like what a cell is, what DNA is, okay? And then also the intention of how they deal with disease, and then the outcome. And then you have the choice to reverse the intention of how they treat disease, and you have the choice to reverse the outcome of how they treat disease. And you know the outcome is always the morgue. No matter what, in the medical or holistic system, the outcome is always the morgue. Okay, so what if that didn't have to be? And so we're all given a choice. Then we all have to prove, or not so much prove, because proof is all relative. Then you have to explain, which I've been doing. Okay? My intention is not to end up in the fucking morgue. My intention is not to treat disease. My intention is not to mitigate against food. My intention is to balance out my acids and my alkalines. My intention is to feel the pain of release. My intention is to fucking live. My intention is not to stay cured. My intention is so opposite of the medical, holistic, energy healing world's intention. And then you have the ability, you have the allowance to go and provide a thesis around that, or not only a thesis, but an explanation around that thesis. Because that's basically what it is. When you have an idea that's completely opposite of everything out there, then it's up to you to find a way to scientifically explain why you came up with this thesis. And that's intelligent. But it takes, right now, 8 billion people to do that. But now that they have the system already has everything figured out. They have the infrastructure figured out. They have the innovation figured out. Now they know how to stay alive, because all you do is pull out the fucking shit, eat all the food, and release the demons and deal with the pain if you have the ability to. And everything's predicated upon the internal, external environment and all the different balancing of all the different acids and all of that. And so even then, they don't even need America anymore when you think about it. You know, I mean, you take all the stuff that's over in Houston and even Silicon Valley and take it over to Europe, different parts of Europe that are not going to be subject to all these fires. Spain's on fire. Greece is on fire. Spokane, Washington's on fire. We know that Lahaina was on fire. Parts of California, Canada's on fire. And so there'll be places like potentially Switzerland, okay, or all the Netherlands and Northern European countries that are immune to all of this, and or they just, you know, have a little area for the Silicon Valley, small Silicon Valley in Houston or Austin or whatever the hell it is. And so all the fires be all around them, and the storm would just miss Austin or something. Not to say they won't be affected on some level. But you can go and replicate everything that's being done in California, everything that's done in Austin, anywhere else in the world. We're all completely expendable. We're all replaceable. And when you realize that you're replaceable, and there's always somebody over there in China, or somebody there in India, or somebody there in Germany, or some other European country that can go and easily replace your ass, then you have to be the one to say, I'm worth it. That I'm irreplaceable to myself and my family, and how am I going to fucking save myself? Okay? And so when someone says it's the end of the world as we know it, what we know right now will be the end of what you know. And it will be a different knowing if you can survive the transition. And so someone says it's not the end of the world, it's the end of the illusion. There's always an illusion. When you have some kind of plan or thought of how you want society constructed, and you have a vision of how you want to see society, it's somebody's vision that then they carried it out and made it a reality. Somebody's vision of a house with all the different things to make sure the house is viable for so many years, and there's rules and regulations how to build a house. Okay, that's someone's vision or illusion. But that's the thing, is everything right now is an illusion. It's not saying that it's not real. Of course it's real, but it's somebody's vision of what they wanted society to be at one point. Even here in Canton, Ohio, There's a vision. I mean, there's still post World War II houses here. They're little bungalows. Like my house was built in 1940 something. It's an old house. But this was someone's vision post World War II when they were doing all the different movements, the military stuff. Okay. And then they had another vision of something like Glenmore, which is a higher echelon community with nice houses built for CEOs and executives for companies that run in my area. Okay. So that's someone's vision illusion. But that vision illusion can be torn down just by one hurricane, by one tornado, by one major flood. And so it can be erased just like on a dry erase board and all that stuff you wrote, it can be erased just like that. And then rebuilt in a different way. Smart city. That's what now we're going towards is smart cities. So one vision illusion was built for so many years, and now we're in a new vision illusion. Okay? And so everything is an illusion. Choose your illusion, but here's the thing. Choose the illusion that's going to help you survive. Because if you're still in the illusion of the past, and the world's fucking changing, the climate's changing, everything's changing, even the economy is changing. You're not going to fucking survive when you're still buying into the old illusions. You have to find a way to transition and survive the transition. And so here's some unsolicited advice. If you're alive, find every way to stay alive. You can't help those who are gone. This is the time not to mourn the dead. This is the time to celebrate you are alive and adapt. No different than when they were doing throwing the virgins in the volcano back in the Inca days and the Peruvian days when they were doing human sacrifice, pulling out the heart. Allegedly, I guess. I'm sure, yeah. When they were doing all those human sacrifices to people were not feeling for that person. I mean, they were, but they knew somebody had to be sacrificed during those different holidays and seasons and rituals. Okay? And they didn't mourn the dead. That person that was sacrificed, I mean, I'm sure they don't want it. But what can you do? You can't save that person when the elders are picking somebody to go and sacrifice, right? So you had to just be the one not to get chosen. And I don't know how you would find a way to be not the one. All right? But you have to be the one to stay alive. You can't save everybody. I watched a video yesterday of somebody, she was just crying. Oh, I feel so bad. I mean, she was just like, she was crying so hard. She was saying that your government is trying to destroy so many people, take their land and then force injected people with the VACCINESs. And they want to destroy so many people. And I'm like, oh, man. I mean, I can't argue with her because people's perception that the V's are so deadly, and they can be, I guess, to people who are deemed not appropriate. And that's up to a doctor to determine that. But if someone has that belief system that the V's are so deadly, okay, to everybody, not just the ones that are not appropriate for it, but to everybody. You can't take that belief. You can't shake that person's belief. You cannot take that belief away. No matter how much you say, no, it's the fucking climate. It's the fucking, the frequencies are changing the fucking climate. And it's fucking up people's immune systems. And so, and she is so torn up about it. She has a family, and I like her. I've seen her on my Facebook many times. We've bantered back and forth. She is so broken up. She is taking this so hard and so personally. And it's going to eat her alive. And I know it's going to eat her family alive because they're going to be resisting everything that's going on. And they're going to still do the same things. Traditional, same things. They're going to stay the course of tradition. Well, when you stay traditional in this type of environment, it's not going to save you. So here's some unsolicited advice. If you're alive, find every way to stay alive. You can't help those who are gone. This is the time not to mourn the dead. This is the time to celebrate you are alive and adapt. You are alive until you're not. So intend to stay alive. There is no guarantee any of us are going to live through all of this. So make the best choice you can while you're alive. And prove to yourself and the world why you deserve to live. No matter what you've heard the last 20 years, your life is in your own hands. No, you can't control the direct energy weapons. You can't. You can't control the storms. You can only anticipate what the new world wants people to be and where they want them to be. Do everything you can to adapt to that intention. But the more you resist, the more it's going to persist and you won't survive. Because you'll use all your energy in resisting something you have zero control over. There will be tremendous loss of life. And we knew this. Okay? All of us in the conspiracy world knew this. I was warning people back 10 years ago to my old high school classmates or junior high classmates. Going like, oh my God. Back then when we were told that this was going to happen 10 years ago. And now here we are. Okay? There will be tremendous loss of life, and we knew this. We were already conditioned for this. This is not a surprise. Nothing going on right now is a surprise. What's a surprise is that a hurricane in California. That's a surprise. But as far as a loss of life, well, how it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I guess it's going to happen around California, Southern California. And it's very wealthy over there. San Diego, Orange County, Ventura County, San Bernardino Valley. Holy shit. You know how many people are out there? Do you know how many people are out there South Central? It's freaking insane. That's a lot of water to be deluged on people who are not, who live mostly outdoors. And everything they have is outdoors. They have thin screens, stucco homes, spray on stucco. They don't have the vinyl siding like we have over here. They have breathable wood because it's warm out there. It doesn't rain a lot out there. And now they're getting deluged, not by wind, sustained winds. Not just wind bursts, but sustained winds and a shit ton of fucking water. And so that's what would surprise me, is that's how it's going to go down. So do the very best you can to change the way you do things. Find a way to stay out of harm's way. Figure out the safest place to live. Nowhere is 100% safe. So find something relatively safer. And when I said the Great Lakes areas can be a good place, when you look at the Navy map of the future configuration of the U.S., you can see where parts of the U.S. are going to be split apart or flooded out based upon how they're going to use the water and the fires. Okay, we're in trial by water and trial by fire right now. But some of you are really torn apart from all what's going on. And I'm sorry you're suffering. Oh yeah, there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of suffering. I mean, people are getting evicted from their home in Maui because it's not sustainable. Supposedly, it's too dangerous because of all the I guess, supposedly the poisons from all the melted acids, the melted metals, and of course, people's corpses. And so people are being forced out of their home that wasn't even burned down. Okay? So that's the thing. If you're in an area where everyone around you is their house is burned down and you're the only one alive, and the only one with your house not burned down, there's no guarantee you can stay in your home. They could force you out and say this is not livable. And they're like they're gonna let the Mother Nature reclaim it, and then later on somebody will go and buy it up once you're gone. And they put a law in to say that nobody can live on this land because it's poison or whatever the hell. So people say, oh yeah, because they have smart meters. That's why. And look, this person didn't have a smart meter. There's no guarantee they're able to stay there. Okay, if you have, again, 50 houses that are all burned around you and you're the only one with no smart meter and you're the only one left out of 50 people, again, you could be forced out. Actually, you would be forced out because you couldn't live there by yourself like that around all that damage. It's against OSHA. It's hazardous. And that's how the system is going to use the laws for your safety. And so, oh, wow. So there are claims that Maui is the new 9/11. And Pearl Harbor. Anything is possible. And so that's how people are reacting. Just read the comments. So that post about 9/11 and Maui is a new 9/11 and Pearl Harbor, and everyone's just like, just going to town on that. We knew it was going to happen. You can't stop it. I mean, you could try to stop it, but what are you going to do? You're going to rise up and do what? Look what happened January 6th. Everyone thought that they could go in and rush the Capitol. And they did. They got in. And then life was lost. People, it could have turned into a whole war if our government decided to also go but no, they let the people in January 6th go right into the Capitol. And then a few people were picked off and then people got scared and they left. What are you going to fucking do? There's nothing to rise up to. You rise up to your own level of awareness and adaptability, and figure out what's going on. And if you are in areas where they want to reclaim the land and there's too many people on it, allegedly, the government says, get out. You can always start over somewhere else. Always. it's just, I mean, I know that land and your house and your land and your farm has been in your family for centuries. We're in a new world now. It's not the way it was before. I mean, I get what's going on. And it sucks when you have roots in an area. And just like over there in Maui, they have roots there for years and they are suffering. They are suffering. And I'll tell you, Oprah and Bezos and everyone that lives there in the rich areas that weren't touched, they'll maybe be around for another 40 years, maybe, give or take, if they're lucky. And then they'll be gone. So they're not even guaranteed to be there forever. They're just carrying out the agenda of humanity. And there's people right there behind them taking their place at some point, carrying out the agenda. Okay? So even the rich that are there are not going to even be there for the next beyond 2050. And so you got to realize, you got to figure out that things are fucking changing. They're changing drastically. So next to Southern California, keep your head on a swivel. People are getting evicted from their homes that weren't even burned down in Maui. We are experiencing everything we were afraid of 10 years ago. It's happening. Keep your head above water, literally and figuratively. And so yesterday I felt actually really normal, like as if there was no climate change, like they calmed down the frequencies yesterday over here. I wasn't really tired that day, relatively energetic, and I felt great. And it was really nice and cool outside. I hung out with my husband. Was outside today with my husband yesterday, chatting him up. The TV is on the fritz here, so no TV downstairs. And it's been nice. We would have dinner together, and, downstairs on the couch where that big TV is that doesn't work. And we turn on the radio and listen to country music. Like we're back in the 90s, in the 60s, sitting and listen to the radio. Downstairs. Then when I go upstairs, I go to bed, I'll watch my little movie, but I was tired. I made a nice meal. And so it's been nice. And it's just been, I've just been downstairs doing my thing, cooking, and all the laundry's done, and I half-assed dusted. I'm not a real clean freak, but I keep things okay. But it was just like so weird. It was just so normal. Because I'm telling you, before last Saturday, every weekend or every day, I'd just be feeling like, oh my God, the heart beating faster, the headaches, not so much the headaches, but just feeling like, holy crap, like anxiety a little bit because of the frequency changes. But now, I mean, after releasing that major demon, I don't know, man. Maybe I lost a demon that was there, that whatever it's doing the last couple days brought up. So it was a beautiful fall day yesterday. All right. So I want to remind myself, I released that fire demon. People die from all the different elements when you get too much of them. Okay. And so the elements influence people's personalities and their complexion. It's literally a trial by fire, trial by the external environment and the internal environment. Right now, California is going through a trial by water. And so right now, everyone's going through a trial by fire and water. And so then I looked up something about sanguine and the happy, and I'm looking at Robin Williams as an example of someone that the sanguine, happy, comedy. And so sanguine is blood, air, right? That's happy. That's when someone drinks alcohol and they're happy. They're boisterous, even kind of jerkily happy. And then there's fire. People are really angry. I'll tell you, my stomach was angry. Like when I had too much of that Jello on top of releasing the alcohol demons, I had so much heartburn. And when I finally yesterday or the day before, when I released that freaking demon, that fire demon, it was because I had a few slices of cabbage, a few large slices of cabbage, and my body released that demon so expeditiously and very urgently. And it was all yellow. It was bile. So yellow bile fire. Then there's black bile earth. And the black bile earth is someone's melancholy. Phlegm water, they're stoic. Phlegm is just kind of like a whiteboard. And when there's color to the phlegm, then that's the different humors. And so I've been releasing, I guess, the alcohol demons because my phlegm has been white with a little bit of red in it. The sanguine. Okay. And so all of these elements can keep you alive as well as destroy you. All the fires all over the world are the anger of release, the yellow bile. All the water is the energy like phlegm, releasing the demons, a carrier force. The weak will be washed away. The strong will hold on. This is the world you live in now. Okay? And I'll tell you, when you're on the coast, remember that hurricane that came up the coast and it flooded out the subway stations up there in New York? Oh, don't think that New York is going to be immune to all this. There's going to be so many things going on up and down this coast. There's hurricanes right now forming in the Atlantic. 1 or 3 or 1 or 2 is going to be viable. And they may go to the south, to Texas, or they may go all the way up the East Coast. And then San Francisco may not escape. And Sacramento. I mean, it's probably colder up there because it's north. But they can get a whole bunch of fucking rain and be rained out. It may not even be a hurricane. You can get so much rain because they can cloud seed. Silver iodide cloud seeds. So just be prepared for anything. Nothing's off the table now. Nothing is. Be not only weather aware, but assume the worst. And have a game plan. Have a bug out bag. What's a bug out bag? Well, that means different things to different people. But what I have maybe is a thing of water and a few papers and my ID and maybe my phone potentially. But that's about it. Because you don't want to be laying down. I mean, when you look at the devastation that's out there, when people get hit by certain things, and you're going to be lugging a big old bag on your back. I mean, you might, but maybe it's an underwear or change of clothes or something, I guess. That could be part of a bug out bag. But yeah, so we're in some different times now. I think people are finally waking up, but it's going to take natural disasters, well, not really natural. It's going to take devastation to wake people up. It's going to take something like going on in California, as unprecedented as it is. It's going to take that to happen for people to fucking wake up. And I've been warning people for years, but you know, when people tell you, oh yeah, laugh at this person because they're a conspiracy theorist, they're unstable, they want attention. And you see all the people like IFL Science and all those different articles. They're all left wing, making fun of people who are trying to warn people of what's going on. And so, yeah, people that follow those types of news rags will then be like, oh yeah, okay. And they're not prepared. And so then when they're not prepared and then a hurricane comes in and takes their asses out, well, if you want to, you can blame IFL Science for making fun of people who are conspiracy theorists. But then that person chooses to allow IFL Science and those news rags to control their perception, to control what they think. And is that IFL Science's fault? No. They just put out what they put out. They make money. It's the person's individual responsibility to consider all fucking options and all things that are going on and consider everything. Nothing is off the table. Anything is possible. And when you look from that point of view, anything is possible, then maybe you might save yourself and save your fucking family. But if you want to stay all stuck in your homogenized small town world in your head, and you're keeping your kids completely behind the gates, keeping your kids insulated from the realities, they won't be prepared to deal with some of this shit. They will not be prepared. Because you parents kept your head in the sand. Because you wanted to live in the old illusion. But we're in a new illusion. Wake up, people. All right, bye.